To understand a woman's grace is to witness the art of being. Grace is not something taught, it is something lived, a quiet knowing that radiates without effort. It is the way water yields to the rock but wears it down over time, the way a flower blooms not because it tries, but because it simply must. A woman's grace teaches us that there is strength in surrender, beauty in vulnerability, and wisdom in stillness. The world is a tapestry woven from opposites, and its beauty lies in the harmony of these contrasts. Light and dark, silence and sound, action and rest all coexist in a delicate dance, each complementing and completing the other. Among these dualities, the interplay of feminine grace and masculine energy offers profound insights into the nature of existence. This balance is not merely a metaphorical concept, it is a universal truth that manifests in every aspect of life. Grace is fluid and adaptive, like water flowing effortlessly around obstacles. It does not resist, it embraces, absorbs, and transforms. It is the quiet power of a sunrise that warms the earth, the gentle pull of gravity that anchors life. In the human experience, this energy is often associated with the feminine, though it transcends gender. It is the essence of being rather than doing, of presence rather than striving. Grace moves with life rather than against it, teaching that there is no need to fight the current when one can float and still reach the shore. On the other hand, the masculine energy is often characterized by its dynamic nature. It seeks to build, conquer, and define. It is the driving force behind creation, the spark of action that propels change. Yet, when left unchecked, this energy can become rigid, relentless, and disconnected from the flow of life. It can try to impose order where none is needed, to control what is meant to be free. This is where the lesson lies. Masculine energy, in its truest form, learns to recognize the wisdom of grace. It sees that not all problems require solutions, that not every challenge demands force. It begins to understand that there is a strength greater than effort, a strength born of understanding and alignment. This balance is not about diminishing one force to elevate the other, it is about their mutual enhancement. Grace does not negate action, but guides it. It tempers the masculine drive with patience, compassion, and awareness. Similarly, the masculine energy gives structure to grace, ensuring it does not dissipate but manifests in tangible ways. Together they create a rhythm, much like a river flowing through its banks. Grace as the water, masculine energy as the boundaries that shape and direct it. When these energies work in harmony, they form a complete expression of life. The masculine learns to trust the wisdom of the feminine flow, while the feminine welcomes the strength of masculine structure. This is not a division, but a unification, a reminder that opposites are not enemies, but partners in a shared journey. The balance of energies invites us to move beyond duality and see the wholeness inherent in all things. It challenges us to embrace both aspects within ourselves and in our interactions with others, to create a life that is neither rigid nor chaotic, but a seamless blend of grace and strength, flow and purpose. Grace is not a skill to be mastered or a quality to be acquired. It is a state of being that flows naturally when one aligns with the rhythm of life. It does not require effort or force, but emerges from a deep understanding of oneself and the world. To embody grace is to move through life with a sense of ease and presence, a quiet confidence that arises from being fully attuned to the moment. Grace is not about perfection, but about authenticity, about being so in harmony with the flow of existence that every action, every word, feels effortless and true. This way of being is deeply rooted in acceptance. Grace does not resist what is, but rather embraces it, knowing that every situation, no matter how challenging, has its purpose. It is the capacity to remain calm amid chaos, to see beauty in imperfection, and to find strength in vulnerability. Grace teaches that life does not have to be controlled to be lived. It can be trusted to unfold as it should. This trust is not born of passivity, but of an inner knowing that life's flow is far wiser than any plan we might devise. Grace manifests in how one moves, speaks, and interacts with others. It is the soft but unshakable strength of someone who knows their worth yet feels no need to assert it. It is the quiet dignity of someone who listens more than they speak, who responds rather than reacts. Grace reveals itself in the smallest of gestures, a kind word, a gentle touch, a smile that carries no agenda. It is not concerned with appearances or recognition. It exists simply because it is natural, like a river flowing to the sea. At its core, grace is deeply connected to love, not the possessive or conditional kind, but love as an open, expansive force. When one moves through the world with grace, there is a sense of reverence for all things, a recognition of their interconnectedness. Grace sees the sacred in the mundane, the extraordinary in the ordinary. It is this perspective that allows one to approach life not as a series of obstacles to overcome, but as a dance to be enjoyed, a journey to be savored. What makes grace so transformative is that it does not depend on external circumstances. It is not dictated by success or failure, by approval or criticism. Instead, it arises from within, from a deep well of peace and clarity. This inner source of grace cannot be shaken by the turbulence of the outside world. It is steadfast, like a tree rooted deeply in the earth, bending with the wind but never breaking. Grace is not exclusive. It is a way of being available to everyone. It does not require one to be extraordinary, but simply to be present, open, and true. It is an invitation to stop striving, to stop trying to prove or achieve, and instead to simply be fully, freely, and authentically. In this way, grace becomes not just a way of being, but a way of living, an expression of life's beauty and depth in every moment. The masculine energy, often characterized by action, drive, and determination, is a force that propels movement and progress in the world. It thrives on solving problems, overcoming challenges, and shaping the environment to align with its goals. Yet within this outward focus lies an inherent need for balance, a deeper lesson that comes from observing and integrating the wisdom found in stillness, softness, and grace. The role of the masculine in learning is not to dominate or control, but to remain open, adaptable, and receptive to the nuances of life. Masculine energy is drawn to structure, order, and purpose. It seeks to carve a path through chaos, to create meaning through achievement. However, this inclination can sometimes lead to rigidity, a belief that progress requires constant action and that value is tied to results. In its purest form, masculine energy learns that not everything can be fixed, solved, or won. There is a wisdom in knowing when to pause, to listen, and to reflect. Learning in this context is not about acquiring knowledge to exert control, but about understanding the interconnectedness of all things. One of the greatest lessons for the masculine is the power of vulnerability. Society often equates masculinity with strength, resilience, and invulnerability, yet true strength lies in the courage to embrace the unknown and the uncertain. Vulnerability is not a weakness, but an entry point to growth and transformation. It allows the masculine to step out of the confines of ego and to connect with something larger than itself, a connection that deepens understanding and fosters empathy. In relationships, the masculine learns through presence. While it may be tempted to fix or offer solutions, often the most profound act is simply to witness and honor the other's experience. This presence requires patience, humility, and the ability to set aside the impulse to act. It is in this space of being rather than doing that the masculine discovers the depth of its role, not as a force imposing change, but as a partner in the dance of life. The process of learning also involves recognizing the limitations of control. The masculine energy often thrives on shaping and directing, but life is not always something to be mastered. There are times when surrender is the highest form of wisdom. This surrender is not a giving up, but a letting go, a trust in the flow of life, and an acknowledgement that not everything is meant to be understood or controlled. It is in these moments of surrender that the masculine finds freedom, not in the exertion of power, but in the alignment with the natural rhythm of existence. Through this journey of learning, the masculine energy evolves. It moves beyond the need to assert and dominate and begins to embody qualities of balance, presence, and integration. It learns to honor not only its strengths, but also its limitations, to lead not by force, but by example, and to find fulfillment, not in conquering the world, but in understanding its place within it. Strength is often imagined as an unyielding force, an armor that shields one from harm, and a will that refuses to bend. Yet the true essence of strength is not found in resistance or in vulnerability, but in the ability to embrace vulnerability. To be vulnerable is to be open, to expose one's authentic self to the uncertainties of life, and to step into the unknown with courage. Far from being a weakness, vulnerability is the foundation of genuine strength, for it requires a profound trust in oneself and the world. Vulnerability is the act of revealing one's innermost truths, fears, and desires. It is the willingness to be seen as you are, without pretense or masks. This openness is often misunderstood as fragility, but it takes immense bravery to show up fully, knowing that there is a risk of rejection, failure, or pain. True strength is not about avoiding these risks, but about facing them head-on, knowing that the growth and connection they bring are worth the discomfort. In relationships, vulnerability is the gateway to intimacy and trust. To share one's feelings, to admit fears, or to express love without guarantees of reciprocation requires strength of character. It is in these moments of raw honesty that bonds are forged, not through perfection, but through shared humanity. When one dares to be vulnerable, they create a space for others to do the same, fostering a connection that is authentic and enduring. Strength in vulnerability is not about protecting oneself from being hurt, but about understanding that the richness of life is found in the willingness to feel deeply. Vulnerability also plays a crucial role in personal growth. To acknowledge one's limitations, mistakes, and uncertainties is an act of courage that allows for learning and transformation. Pretending to have all the answers or to be impervious to failure creates a barrier to growth. By contrast, admitting I don't know or I need help opens the door to new perspectives and possibilities. It is through this openness that resilience is built, not the brittle kind of resilience that breaks under pressure, but the flexible kind that adapts, learns, and grows stronger over time. In a world that often glorifies perfection and self-sufficiency, vulnerability can feel like rebellion. To embrace it is to challenge the notion that strength is about having no flaws or weaknesses. It is to recognize that strength lies in authenticity, in the courage to be imperfect, and in the resilience to rise after falling. Vulnerability allows for a deeper connection not only with others but also with oneself, fostering self-compassion and a sense of inner peace. Ultimately, strength in vulnerability is about living fully. It is about stepping into life with an open heart, even when there are no guarantees of success or safety. It is about trusting that the act of showing up, of being seen, is itself an expression of immense power. This strength is not about winning or dominating, but about being true, present, and alive. Life is a web of interconnected relationships, where every being, element, and moment is intricately linked to all others. This interconnectedness reveals a profound truth. Unity is not achieved through isolation or self-sufficiency, but through the recognition of our interdependence. To exist is to be part of something larger, a whole that thrives not despite its diversity, but because of it. Interdependence is the thread that weaves individuals, communities, and the natural world into a single harmonious tapestry. The idea of interdependence challenges the illusion of separateness. In a world that often celebrates independence and self-reliance, it can be easy to overlook the countless ways we rely on one another. No one exists in a vacuum. Every action, decision, and life is shaped by the countless unseen contributions of others. The air we breathe, the food we eat, the knowledge we acquire, all are gifts made possible through a web of connections that spans the globe. Recognizing this interdependence fosters humility and gratitude, dissolving the barriers that divide us and opening the door to unity. Interdependence does not diminish individuality, rather it enhances it. Each person, like a single instrument in an orchestra, has a unique role to play. When individuals bring their authentic selves to the collective, the whole becomes richer, more vibrant, and more complete. Unity through interdependence is not about conformity, but about collaboration, where differences are not threats but assets. It is in the blending of diverse perspectives, talents, and experiences that the most beautiful creations emerge. In nature, the principle of interdependence is evident everywhere. Forests, for example, thrive because of the relationships between trees, fungi, animals, and the soil. Each plays a role in sustaining the ecosystem, and no part can exist in isolation. This natural model teaches that strength lies in cooperation, not competition. When one part of the system thrives, the entire system flourishes. And when one part suffers, the ripple effects are felt throughout. Humanity is no different. Our well-being is tied to the well-being of others and the planet as a whole. Interdependence also invites a deeper understanding of responsibility. When we recognize that our actions affect not only ourselves, but also those around us, we begin to act with greater care and intention. Unity through interdependence is not passive, it requires active participation. A willingness to contribute to the collective good while also being open to receiving from others. It is a dynamic process of giving and receiving, a balance that sustains the whole. In relationships, interdependence strengthens connections by fostering mutual respect and support. It is not about dependence, where one leans entirely on another, nor is it about independence, where each stands alone. Instead, it is about creating a partnership where both give and receive, grow and support in equal measure. Such relationships are the foundation of strong families, communities, and societies. Interdependence reminds us that no one has to face life alone, nor should they. It reveals that strength is not about standing apart, but about coming together, not about self-sufficiency, but about shared purpose. Through this understanding, unity is not just an ideal, but a lived reality, a way of being that honors the connections that bind us all. Beneath the surface of human differences lies a shared truth, a thread of commonality that unites all people regardless of culture, belief, or circumstance. This truth transcends labels, identities, and the illusions of separation. It is the essence of what it means to be human, a recognition that at our core we are deeply connected by the same desires, fears, and experiences. To understand this shared truth is to see beyond the superficial distinctions and to embrace the universal humanity that binds us together. Every human being longs for connection. This longing is not a weakness, but a reflection of our nature as social creatures. From the moment we are born, we seek bonds with others through touch, words, and shared experiences. At its heart, the need for connection stems from a desire to belong, to be seen, and to be understood. This universal craving reveals that no matter how different our paths may appear, we all share the same fundamental yearning for acceptance and love. The shared human truth is also evident in our vulnerability. No one escapes the trials of life, grief, disappointment, uncertainty. These challenges are not unique to any one person, they are part of the collective human experience. To feel pain is to be alive, and in this shared vulnerability lies an opportunity for empathy. When we understand that others have suffered as we have, we can extend compassion not only to others, but also to ourselves. This recognition dissolves the illusion of isolation, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. Equally, joy is part of this shared truth. The delight found in a sunrise, the laughter of a child, or the beauty of music is universal. These moments of joy connect us to something greater, a sense of wonder that transcends language and culture. In joy, we see the reflection of our common humanity, a reminder that life's simplest pleasures are often the most profound. The shared human truth also lies in our capacity for growth. Each person carries within them the potential to learn, change, and transform. This potential is not limited by geography, upbringing, or circumstance. It is an inherent part of being human. The journey of self-discovery, the search for meaning, and the pursuit of purpose are experiences we all navigate. While the paths may differ, the underlying quest remains the same. At the deepest level, The shared human truth reveals that we are all interconnected. The lines that divide us, race, religion, nationality, are constructs, not realities. Beneath these distinctions, the same blood flows, the same heart beats. To embrace this truth is to honor the dignity of every person, to see in each other a mirror of ourselves. It is a call to move beyond fear and judgment, to build bridges where there are walls, and to create a world where differences are celebrated rather than feared. In recognizing this truth, we find not only unity but also strength. It reminds us that our individual stories are part of a much larger narrative, one that is shaped by our shared humanity. This truth is a source of hope, a reminder that despite the divisions we create, we are fundamentally one.